Guys, what's up? What's going on out there today? Good to be with you again. Look, another episode of Theory versus Reality. Here's what actually works. The title of today's message is, you rarely need a better forehand, right? Instead, what we need to be working on is a whole lot less technique. Most of the time, whatever you've got right now, assuming that, there's not a glaring lack of a fundamental in there, your forehand is typically good enough. What you really, really need is number one, is you need consistent depth, right? That ball needs to consistently go deep to that opponent. Doesn't have to be hit a screaming million miles an hour. I think too often players think, well, depth must equate to more power. And it really doesn't. It more often than not relates much more to trajectory over the top of the net, right? Over the top of the white line. And when you start getting super consistent with that, with your depth, you're going to find that you get so many, number one, errors just because they're having to short hop it or because they're having to back up, right? And that in itself is going to obviously get you some free points, but you're also going to, if it comes back from your opponent with that sort of higher trajectory, I'm not talking about pushing, I'm talking about a high quality swing that's got some serious swing speed and it's got a really high quality spin. Um, that thing lands deep, eats them up. You're going to get a lot of short ball opportunities to really take advantage of the point. So let's talk about how do we consistently get depth. Well, number one is the spacing that you've got to have. And let's use the topspin forehand on this, right? So that we're getting away from thinking about we need better spin, we need better technique. What we really need to do, first of all, is make sure we've got the right spacing, right? Spacing is that spatial distance away from the ball when you make contact, that spatial distance from your body away from the point of contact. And there's a certain spot there that when it's right, you really feel some natural swing freedom right through the ball. If the ball's too far away at contact, or if you're crowding the ball too much, or maybe you've got your timing too far out in front, or you're a hair late, whatever it is with those things, if that's let's say consistently inconsistent with your spacing, it's tough to really make sure that you're getting some depth with your topspin forehand. So the first thing to do is to make sure that you are working on spacing. And spacing is all about footwork, right? It's all making sure that your feet are getting organized in such a way that you are over and over and over again and putting yourself in a spatial relationship to the contact point where it's just perfect for you. My spacing contact point might be slightly different than yours. Mine might be different than someone else's and all that. It doesn't matter. You've got to find your reference point, which is perfect for your unique forehand. And the only way to do that is just get out and just, start off with some slow incoming balls. You could have someone underhand feed you some balls, or you could put the ball machine on a really slow speed and just start to tinker with what's the ideal spacing for you. Once you find it, then all you have to do is get a lot of reps in with a lot of footwork, creating that spacing so that you've consistently got the right spatial distance away from the ball. Once you do that, then we got to get consistent with your early shot choice commitment and trust. And for me, early shot choice commitment is based on that opponent over there. What are they really good at, right? Let's say they've got a great forehand, for example. Okay, I'm not going to give them a steady diet of forehands where they can bring out their greatness. I'm going to find what they're average at. Maybe I'll find a weakness, and whatever that is, either they're average where they really can't hurt me, or they're weak. I'm just going to give them a steady diet of that over and over and over again. So right then and there, that now I've narrowed down my shot choices, right? I know where I want to keep it away from, and I know where I want to go to. That might mean, let's say it's a backhand, right? That now means to me, I know on any incoming ball, assuming that I can actually get it there, I'm going to that opponent's backhand side of the court. Now shot choice really gets narrowed down, right? So it's easy to make that commitment. And then once you make the commitment, the second part of this is trust, right? You've made the early commitment. The ball's coming in. You feel like you've got a little time, right? Got the right spacing going on. But do you actually trust that what you're about to do is going to be okay? The worst case, it'll keep the point neutral. Too often what happens is we create the right spacing, we've got the right shot choice, but we're not 100% committed to execute that shot choice. You've got to train that. You've got to make sure that you're consistently good with those two things. Number one, early shot choice commitment, and then fully trusting it. The next part is the target. Look, you've already decided where you're going. In my case, let's say if the guy's forehand's great, staying away from that. All right, I'm going over to that guy's backhand side. My target is a specific spot above the white line, above the top of the net, right? I'm not thinking, well, for me, depth is going to be 3 feet inside the baseline and 3 feet inside the sideline. No, I'm bringing my target much closer to me, so it's much more tangible. It's like I'm on a backboard, right? I look at the tape, right? The very top of the net, that white line, as if it's I'm just hitting the ball up against and over the white line, just like I'm on a backboard or a wall, right? And for me, that makes more sense. It's much more tangible. It keeps me away from thinking about keep away from that opponent with my shot. Don't worry about that. Look, that guy over there is good. I'm assuming they're going to get to it, even if I've got a wide opening over there. Maybe they've anticipated that's where we're going to go with the shot, and they're there, right? So I'm assuming number one, I'm going to hit a high quality ball, but that doesn't mean it's going to be an outright winner that they can't touch it. So I'm assuming that guy's good. He's going to get it back, and whatever they play back, that's totally okay. When you have that mindset about the target, you know what happens is you take your time. You don't rush to get through the shot in hopes that they won't be able to touch the shot that you've just hit. And once we start rushing, now all of a sudden your spacing and all that stuff gets disrupted. And then finally, look, um, if you miss a ball in the net, for example, you don't want to go into a swing tech analysis, right? Well, here's what I did wrong tech wise. Here's what I need to do instead. Look, all you need to do is just tell yourself one word, and that word is higher. And that just that means to me higher above the white line. So it works its way into target. All right. Lots of times I'll hit a ball to my target, or I should say, I hit a ball to the spot of the court I want over there, but it's too low. It barely goes over the top of the net. Might even be a winner. And I used to go, yeah, baby, as opposed to going, wait a minute, I got to make sure it's higher because I can't play that close to the net consistently over and over and over again. So if you miss the net, the word is higher. If you hit a great shot, but you know it's just a little bit too low, it's barely going over the top of the net, just tell yourself higher, right? And so, look, this is all about this is all about consistency in these bullet points right here, right? That, depth comes from early spacing, or I should say, creating the right spacing, early shot choice commitment, and trusting that shot choice. Um, Consistently with being a certain spot above the net, depending on what's right for your topspin forehand, right? My height might be different than yours. It doesn't matter. Whatever you can consistently do without it being too low, right? We don't want to just be flirting with the net thinking, well, to get it deep, I've got to hit with some power here, right? You don't want to be messing with that thin of a margin. And then anytime you need to make an adjustment, it's not about swing tech, right? It's about the word higher. Or maybe that you've gone too close to the sideline over there and you're a hair late or whatever it is. Now the ball's wide. Hit the ball clean, but you're a hair late, the ball goes wide. When I do that, I just tell myself way more inside that sideline. As the great Dave Severson once told me, lots of times, Brent, take the sideline out of it. Take that sideline out of your target. Guys, look, hope this has been helpful today. If so, would love for you to like this video. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And look, if there's something on your mind, maybe a comment, question, feedback, remark, whatever that is, I love to read your stuff. Always get back to you. And if there's a notification bell there somewhere, click that notification bell so you always get notified every time I post new content. Look, guys, there we have it. Again, hope this has been helpful. Let me know. And as always, this time, we have to get out there. We got to help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I'm going to see you again next time.